Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Amazing Grace Sports Network. We are here. I'm a little dingied up today, doing a little work in my house.
Yeah,
Play.
that's why he doesn't have any lights on him. He doesn't want anybody to see all the dust that he has on him. But yeah, he's doing some home rehabilitation. Is
There
that what
you
they call
go.
it?
Rehab. Rehab.
Rehab. Yeah,
I took
he's
my house
rehabbing.
to the rehab and they won.
He fought the rehab in the rehab one. Um, this is the second rehab on this bathroom because he had so much fun doing the rehab the first time that he had to do it again.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Well, I mean,
Here we go.
you got a better reasoning for doing a second rehab in 10 years.
I was a little aggressive and arrogant back in the day, so I didn't see things the way I see them now. With the help of my,
The way you
with
see.
the help of my wife.
He didn't see the water coming down his
Yeah.
kitchen wall. That's what he didn't see. And when that happened, everything changed.
Terrible, just terrible, man. That's terrible.
Terrible, man. Terrible. We're here at Amazing Great Sports Network on our podcast. We always have the podcast on Wednesdays. And we're here to talk about the NFL free agency as well as the draft picks coming up. And some of the, the bylines or storylines coming into this draft is the Chicago Bears traded Justin Fields for a sixth-round draft pick. A sixth round draft pick for, I think he was the number 2 or 3 person taken. Well, he was in the top 3 taken back, what was that? Maybe a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. They traded him for a sixth round draft pick next year to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, what was that about?
They look like they're trying to position themselves for Khalid Williams now.
Oh, definitely. That's definite. They're taking a quarterback with this pick.
Hey guys.
Hey, Magic is in the house.
Magic's in the house.
Yes.
We're on live, Magic. We're on live.
Am I in the right box today?
Yeah. I think you are. Let me see.
Okay.
Let's see if we can move it around a little bit and
Yeah.
How about that?
Much better. Now I think we're all okay. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, great to see you. Great to have you aboard. We were a little bit worried that you weren't going to get off your boat in time, get on shore in time, but you made it.
No, I'm going to be here. It's just a little slow sometimes when you're multitasking. That's all.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about the Chicago Bears trading Justin Fields for a sixth round draft pick next year.
Right. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
How bad is management there in Chicagoland? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it leaves you wondering because you picked up Russell Wilson. I'm sure you convinced him that he was going to have a legitimate shot.
You're talking about the Steelers. The Steelers picked up Russell Wilson.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm jumping the gun here because it all ties in. So yes, Chicago management is definitely mind-boggling too. Because if I couldn't get anything more than the 6th round, I don't know if I'm letting that guy go.
And I agree with you. Now that we talked about it, and we talked about it a couple of days ago, I probably ain't letting that guy go if I can't get more than a 6th round draft pick for him.
Yeah, especially when you just recently had Mac Jones, who went for a 6th round. And as bad as we thought Mac Jones played, I thought he was worth more than a 6. But yeah, they did what they did. But there's no way you can get a 6 for Justin Fields. It's just crazy.
Well, sometimes you give that 6 and you get a diamond in the rough when you go for them ladder trades,
Yeah.
Draft, hey, you never know. Number 1 can be a flop, and then number 9 can be the man,
Yeah, but that's definitely a part of sports or whatever. If you're a GM, sometimes you find
no. You can't. As a GM, you should be fired. Wherever that GM should be fired. You're letting these guys get away with this stuff, like you're just lowering the margin so that they can. Oh, it's okay to draft somebody in the 1st round in the top 3, and then trade him 3 years later for a number 6 in the next year. Not even this year, the next year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. What I was saying was to Eric's point. Sometimes you could find a diamond in the rough. I mean, but are you living by that, or are you trying to hit a home run? Like your idea is to really hit hit the ball solidly. You don't want to hit a base hit, right, or strike out. You want to hit a home run every time you're picking somebody in the draft. That's the goal. But every now and then you get someone lucky, and I think they made a
They what?
mistake. I think they made a mistake letting him go for so little.
Yeah.
But yes,
Fire
sometimes.
him. Fire that guy. Fire that guy. I'm not giving him any excuses. What do you think about this, Mr. James?
I think I think there's a lot more coaching skills needed to be involved in Chicago. Chicago used to be a real hard-nosed team for years.
For
McMahon,
years.
back in the
The
days of
Bears.
McMahon, oh
The
my God,
Bears.
the Bears was the muddy, dirty, downright team. So I think no matter if you get a pick on the sixth round or the sixth round or the first round, if you don't have the coaching staff to legitimately get that guy or that quarterback and that team into the right direction, it don't matter what you get. Last couple of years, the Bears has been what? They're not doing well at all.
They
so
have
they need to restructure the whole thing.
Listen, I'm going to tell you guys because I've looked into it, and I'm going to tell you what their record is over the last couple of years. It's pretty abysmal. Last year they were 7-10. 2002, 2022, they were 3-14. I mean, their record is worse than Detroit. I looked this up over the last 10 years. In 2021, it was 6-11. In 2020, they were actually 8-8. So they, at least they were half, like a 500 team.
So they got to get their staff together. Their staff is what's killing them.
Listen,
2019, finish. It gets better. 2019, 8-8 again. 2018, Chicago actually was 12-4. That's when Mitch Trubisky was drafted in 2017. He matured into a decent quarterback in 2018, but he was beat up because they started him too early. And in 2019, that's when they would go 8-8 and from there down. But 2017, 5-11. 2016, 3-13. 2015, 6-10.
We got your point. They got a long string of losing seasons.
That
the last time they were a solid team to be respected. Lovie Smith was the coach, right?
I don't know. I didn't look at the coach. When they won that division, that 12-4 in 2018, Matt Nagy was the coach.
Matt Nagy, yeah. So okay, yeah. So my thing is when you have that many losing seasons, and to Eric's point, you're talking coaching, but after a while it rises above that, right? It starts to look. See, as an organization, you have to question where is it that you're going wrong when you're having 10 years of like subpar seasons.
The ownership and management.
Yeah. So they got to look above coaching. So
right.
Yeah. But that's
right.
Chicago. That's Chicago. I mean, with Chicago, the last time they went to the Super Bowl, they had Rex Grossman as a quarterback, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that was the best shot in the last 30 years. It's like with Rex Grossman, really?
Rex Grossman? Yeah, that's pretty bad. But anyway, that's Chicago. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers who got Justin Fields for a 6th-round draft pick in 2025. And in addition, picked up Russell Wilson for $1 million. Having these two quarterbacks, pretty good quarterbacks. What do you think they should do?
Well, first of all, let's get. It's funny. It was the perfect segue into talking about Pittsburgh because you're talking about an organization that has gone so long without a losing season. We just came back from how long Chicago had been losing.
And they've been losing.
Yeah, they've been losing forever, right? And then what happened is, what does Pittsburgh do? They not only get one quarterback, they got two. Chicago right now has nothing. Pittsburgh got 2 for nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, right now they got the best offseason of anybody in NFL because I can't see both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson staying on that roster for the entire season.
Only one can play.
Well, they might hold on and trade one of them for something else because they need to shore up their line. I think they're looking for a tackle as well on defense.
Yeah, so Matter of fact, oh, bless you. A D tackle just signed with the Patriots today or yesterday from Pittsburgh. I forget his name, Wallace or something like that. So
I don't believe. Yeah.
So Pittsburgh. I think they're in a great position. I don't know if they're going to get a great
But
quarterback.
only one quarterback can play.
Right, but I'm saying is that they're in a great position because they got two quarterbacks for almost nothing, and they're going to have good trade value.
And maybe their theory is if Russell don't work out, we'll throw Justin in there. You know, they got a backup plan for the backup plan already.
Well,
oh God, listen, only Pittsburgh could screw this up. As soon as they make this trade, right now they should be looking to move off Russell Wilson because they have him for a $1 million contract, guys. They've already signed him, so they can trade him to anybody else, and the person will only be paying $1 million. This guy has so much value right now that he will never have again.
Right.
You could trade this guy for a second and third round draft pick. You can get, who knows, just package it into something. And now you can start Justin Fields. You can't screw this up, Pittsburgh, because you got Russell Wilson, and he's not the Russell Wilson of old. We kind of don't think those days are coming back. So, but you got him for a year for the cheapest money possible, and it's an aspiring contract. Dudes.
Hey, let's get in the mud a little bit. Let's get in the weeds a little bit, right? We just gonna do. We just call it what it is. A lot of these people, they own these teams. They maybe it's their toys or whatever. Then you got GMs. They got this position because they just know somebody, right? Then you got a lot of arrogance in the league. If you're a really good organization, man, you're gonna blow away some people in the next couple of years because certain things like arrogance is getting in the way. It's getting in the right. So if you actually do your job and let everybody else fumble the ball, I think Chicago fumbled. I think Denver fumbled. I don't care whether or not you didn't like Russell Wilson. You don't just take $39 million and just eat it, and now you don't have anybody at all.
They got. Don't they have that Jason Stidham? Wasn't he the former Patriots guy? They got Jason Stidham there, don't they? Yeah, they got Jason Stidham.
How many?
I know everyone say Jason who?
I know he was. Yeah, he played behind Mac before they got Zappy.
Yeah,
they even tried to start him.
Listen, I think. Okay, what do you think about the Denver move and the Pittsburgh situation, Eric?
I honestly think Denver is.
No, we're gonna ask Eric. Eric, what do you think about this move?
I'm sorry, Eric.
Magic got the floor.
He's just taking over.
I got some of that Clay Morris coffee this morning.
Oh, watch out, boy! Watch out. So Denver is still paying Wilson?
Yes. He has a $39 million contract. $39 million that he's on the hook for. He signed for $1 million, so Denver's still on the hook for $38 million, no matter who gets him.
Well, actually, $40 million he's making with the 39 from there and the million he's making. Where he's at now. But I mean,
no, that $1 million takes off from the 39.
Oh, okay, right, from them to them. But I'm saying in total, Wilson's still making 40.
Close to it, or maybe around there. Who knows?
Yeah, he's not in a bad spot. I mean, they messed up by getting rid of him too quickly with nothing to back it up. And again, these guys got to learn to use some of these veteran quarterbacks as, a quarterback coach, without being a quarterback coach.
Do you think Russell Wilson would have went for that, though?
That's the question. So that's the question. I know they all want to start. Everybody want to start, but you're getting paid.
That's what I think.
Did I get knocked off?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't think Russell Wilson's going to take a back seat. Yeah, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to take a back seat. It's not his personality. I don't think he's going to be a good guy on the sidelines, trying to help somebody out. I mean, he might be trying to poison get a little sick, put something in there. I mean, so you have a problem. I don't think you can actually keep him there. They had a problem. Okay, some people say but if you keep him, you're going to have to play him. And he's not the Russell Wilson he used to be.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but somehow a phone call came in.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Of,
So
of course.
yeah.
We told you to. Well,
Well,
yeah.
I can't do it at work. We had that conversation.
So about Russell Wilson, you have to make a decision. What are you going to do? Do you think he's good? I don't think he's the Russell Wilson that he used to be 5 years ago.
No, he's not. And obviously Sean Payton thought the same thing. But I think, again, arrogance is getting in the way. You still have to look at the thing that's best for the organization. And $39 million and just saying, I'm letting this guy walk because I can do it with anybody. Good luck, Sean.
Yeah, but I think he's not. Listen, Russell Wilson, at a time when he was with Seattle back then in 2014, in those years, was one of the top 5 quarterbacks. But in the last 5 or 4 years, the guy's fallen off so much. I don't know what's wrong with his arm. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, but he doesn't look the same. He looks terrible a lot of times. He can't find his receiver.
Again, we all agree. I don't think any of us would argue that he still can go out there and do the things he did once before. But I think my point is, Sean Payton thinks he can just put somebody out there because he's Sean Payton. So if it's going to be Jarrett Stidham, he's going to look like
Russell Wilson.
He's
going to look like Matt Jones.
He's going to look like Jarrett Stidham. He's going to look like Jarrett Stidham. That's what he's going to look like. You know, and
I know, but that's not too much of a big difference from freaking Russell Wilson.
Well, I don't know. Russell Wilson still might be able to give you some stuff that he got over the last 12 years he's been in the league. So
he's been in the league longer than that, but Russell Wilson hasn't put out a good product in 5 years. He's been resting on his laurels. I don't know what happened to him. Who knows? But anyway, he hasn't looked the same.
He played some good games last season, but I don't know.
Where did he play him in the bathtub?
No, he was actually. People were talking about how great he was playing early on in the season in Denver.
What?
Oh yeah, they were talking about.
I don't know what they were watching. I didn't see that, but anyway, the Steelers now have a conundrum.
Yeah.
Mr. James, what do you think they should do with the conundrum that the Steelers have?
Let it play out. We'll see if the coach can make it happen for them.
He's a little slow on the response because you used the word conundrum.
Yeah.
well, they have 2 quarterbacks. Do you think they should go into the season with both quarterbacks on the team?
No, that's why I said they're probably waiting until the draft in April, and then they'll make some moves.
Yeah,
and I think everybody else is just loading their deck, so they have people to trade. That's worth a little bit. To kind of move up in the draft. So I think that's all they're doing right now. And I don't think this is nowhere close to settle for who they're going to have for the season. So I think the telltale will be in April during the draft when we start seeing some real moves.
Yeah,
which quarterback do you think they should keep?
Good question, Clay.
Well, definitely.
Which quarterback do you think they should keep?
Fields, man. Fields.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So in essence, what they did was they took these lower drafts that they gave somebody else, and they're going to turn it into a higher draft pick.
Yeah. Plus a few bodies.
Yeah. So these teams that let these 2 quarterbacks go for almost nothing, that's insane.
Yeah, those would be the guys that's going to suffer the most because they got nothing else to trade with.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So let's ask this question: are we sure that Chicago's going to go with Caleb Williams, or are they going to trade back?
Oh heck yeah, they're going with Caleb Williams. Chicago is so dumb. They are so dumb. They're going to pick up Caleb Williams, and they ain't going to start him the first game, guaranteeing his failure.
That would be the problem.
Yeah,
which they're going to do, and you know this is going to happen. You know it.
I think Chicago's picking 11 without. I think no. I don't know what that, because they have their own draft pick too. I don't know what position that is, 9 or 11 or something like that. So they have the number 1 pick that came from Carolina, but they got their own draft pick as well. So to me, I think you'll still get a good quarterback at that number. So I would trade back.
We're talking about Chicago.
We're talking about Chicago, so I would give up that number 1 spot to somebody who wants to give up some value, right?
They just gave away. We're talking about the team that gave away Justin Fields, a fairly good quarterback. He's not bad. He's a middle of the packer right now. I mean, you're going to win some games with him, and there's a great upside. They gave him away for a 6th-round draft pick next year, and you think they ain't going to take the number one? They're not going to use the number one draft to get Caleb Williams.
That response went right over my head. I agree with you. They're going to fumble. Yeah, they're going to do something.
They're going to fumble. They're going to blow the bag.
Yeah, because that's what I would do. I would trade back. I got my own pick. I would trade back and stack up, and then create a real solid, draft class. Because you're going to get a decent quarterback no matter what. There's supposedly at least 4 to 5 quarterbacks that you can pick. You got Milton up there. You got Penix up there. You got Manuel. You got Daniels, May, and Caleb. Yeah, you're going to get one at 9 or 11.
Well, they said the Patriots are looking at Jaden Daniels. Let's move on.
Let's go.
Let's move on. They say that Patriots looking at Jaden Daniels. What y'all think about that?
You know what? I actually have not seen him play. All I saw was his stats. I saw little clips, but the actual game, all I can go is based on what they're talking about. I never saw him play.
Joe Milton. I want the Patriots to trade that pick to trade it into 2 or 3 more picks and grab Joe Milton, like 15 or 16. He's a project. He's just like Jacoby Brissett, the quarterback that you brought in for your bridge year. Now you're going to have a guy right behind him learning some things, because basically the same type guy. Big. This guy's got an arm he can throw at 90 yards. This guy's got the biggest arm in the whole combine. If they go out and they waste their time on this high draft pick that they're going to have to pay X amount of dollars with the third pick, okay, that's going to severely hamstring them in the salary cap, and he turns out to be a bust. I mean, he's not a Patrick Mahomes, he's not a Joe Burrows, he's not a Tom Brady. Listen, you might as well go get Joe Milton.
Well, I mean, you want a Tom Brady. That's what you really want. A 6th-round diamond in the rough. But you're right. I mean, if you swing and miss, so are these? I mean, Daniels or
Daniels.
I don't know. I don't know whether or not those are difference makers, or did he just have one good season? I don't know about their careers.
Well, coming from college to the pros, as we know, it's a big transition. So it all depends on, the skill level of the player, the actual person, and then the skill level of the coaching and, situation they're going to put them in. If they're going to slowly move them in and train them and get them right, then they can do justice with a 6-pick, 7-pick, 8-pick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you get a top-notch guy that you're trying to drop right in there right away, you're not going to do well.
Right. So I think I asked a question during our last platform who the GM was, and you guys had an answer, but I don't know who the offensive coordinator is.
Offensive coordinator?
The offensive coordinator for the
Elliot Wolf is the GM.
Right.
I'm not sure who the offensive coordinator is, but you take a diamond in the rough. The chances of getting a Mahomes or a Montana or a Brady or even Russell Wilson in his prime, those first 5 years when he was unbelievable. I mean, he had all the acumen, he had the arm, he had the drive. It's gonna be pretty tough. You're gonna need a kid who wants to, who hasn't had that much, and it's gonna push it. You're gonna need somebody with that eagerness, somebody with something on the shoulder to prove. And I'm not sure that these top guys come from these top colleges after they get paid that good money of $10 million to $15 million a year are gonna have that.
Yeah.
They're pulling a guy by the name of Alex Van Pelt.
Right. Okay. Alex Van Pelt.
He was a former quarterback. I think he played with the Bills at one point.
At one point.
Yeah. So okay. And he's got some. Okay, that's not a bad.
That's a very good move.
Yeah,
since you're trying to get a new quarterback in there too. So you get an offensive coordinator, you get 2 for 1. You get him offensively and also being a quarterback himself. He sees some of the things that the average coordinator don't see.
Yeah.
That's a huge plus.
Yeah, I like that.
Mac Jones could have used him instead of Patricia and Joe Judge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys who still unemployed, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, Patricia got a job.
He's a consultant though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Judge is still unemployed. So isn't Belichick, but
Yeah. Hey, I know I missed the first couple of minutes of the show. Did we mention anything about the dynasty? Because
No.
yeah, there was this good guy, a real good friend of mine, sent me a clip this morning about some of the people not being happy with how the dynasty, how the documentary was
portrayed.
Portrayed. Yeah. I thought that was a good find. Like I said, that guy who sent it to me is a great guy. He's a good friend of mine.
You got to keep looking at all the sources you can for all the information you can get. And Devin McCourty, Rodney Harrison talked about the dynasty. And they were kind of disappointed in some of the ways that the director tried to take it, because they said there was so much more information that could have been on the players instead of focusing on some of the things that he tried to focus on. He said, but they were trying to make Bill the bad guy, and they were trying to build it around Robert Kraft and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And so a lot of things got left on the cutting room floor. But they had some good points about, the players. There were a lot of players. Willie McGinnis, a lot of players came through New England and showed out.
Yeah.
They just didn't give enough people props during that. They got too stuck in it. Aaron Hernandez should have never got any burn. And if he got
they should have took the whole Aaron Hernandez
and let it go.
Out. It's a unanimous understanding that we felt like that was something that we could have just skipped over.
Yeah.
And we could have just hit fast forward on that whole thing. He should.
But as you see, a lot of it was looking for controversy.
Yeah.
In search of controversy. They gave you those tidbits that give you the controversy pieces,
Right. Yeah. So when you're talking about some of the things we talked about in the past, these players, man, they really dug down deep, to play for, like
Bill Belichick.
They worked for Bill, but they played for Tom. But clearly, Bill Belichick had some control over what was going on that field as well. He had a good feel for what was needed, because I know I hate to go back here, but because 4-13 is 4-13, but
that's right, baby. That's right. 4-13.
But he still had a lot of those guys still playing hard.
But you gotta have a product that people are willing to build into or believe into. So if you can create just a thought, guys, this is what we do. Each man does his own job. They're like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Okay, each man does his own job. We don't talk to the media. Okay, that's cool. So we don't talk to the media. You know what I'm saying?
Easier.
You get those little slogans that people will buy into. And then once they buy into, they'll drive it into the ground because they believe it.
Yeah.
Right. But through time, and that's good for 4 years or 5 years, but 20 years is a little long before people gonna start sticking holes in your slogans and trying to make problems here or problems there, and just to kind of break it all up because they want to win too.
Right, and I think the players that were the big marquee names that actually shot their way out of town for money. What the interesting thing is, those are the same three players that give the Patriots as much praise that you could give a team. After their careers were over, when they look back, they were like, "Listen, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would stay with the Patriots."
Yeah. It's been some that said that.
Yeah, Randy Moss, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, they were ones that wanted that back, but they never lost respect for the organization.
Yeah, but guys, and we're gonna go with Gronk. Gronk said there's a lot. I don't know. Maybe you can just split the praise down the middle, 50%, because there's so much when the other players talk about Brady also being a coach and demanding basically the same things that Belichick was demanding, that you're precise, that you do your job. If you don't go to the right spot, I'm not throwing you the ball.
Right.
Spending lots of time after practice, going over tapes, going over film. I watched what was it, Hogan? What was his name? Steve Hogan? Who was the guy? He was a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
he did a series and he was talking about. He said Belichick would sit with him and go over things, so he would teach him things. And he said Brady would do the same thing. And he said they didn't have to do that, but they did have to do that if they wanted success, and they were willing to do that. Like unlike most quarterbacks and coaches who say, "Okay, you're on your own. Have a nice day. Figure it out."
Yeah. Or you know what? When you walk out off these facilities, you know you're out of touch until you walk back on. And the Patriots they weren't like that. So if they didn't see, because we always wonder like, why would they let that guy go? There were some things that they saw that they just didn't want any part of.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. You were the one who was like hammering the Patriot way. Now you're uplifting it. Which one? Which on which side do you want to be on?
And I want to be very clear when I was hammering.
Okay, let's hear about this very clear.
I want to be very clear when I was hammering the Patriot way. What I'm saying is that we were putting so much praise in quote unquote the Patriots way, but at the same time, you know, they overlooked some stuff because they were they were adamant and putting out what they thought was the best opportunity to win. So they overlooked some stuff, which is why you had some of the nonsense that ultimately became aired in the public down the road, right? So
I think that has to do with Aaron Hernandez, but Rodney Harrison and Devin McCourty, they both had praise for Corey Dillon coming in and doing their thing. Randy Moss, you know, players that were lined and came in and, you know, put the pedal to the metal, you know, being the best versions of themselves. And so they had so much praise for those people.
Right. Corey Dillon did it best. He came in for 1 year, went to the Super Bowl, and retired.
Did he just do it 1 year? I thought he. Yes. No, did 1 year. Okay, yeah.
Clark killing Dillon.
Yeah, that boy he was like what was the boy Theismann? No, Riggins from the Redskins. Like to dig him deep, he's going through Earl Campbell type runner. Yeah, that boy.
Yeah,
that boy was bad.
I think Corey Dillon played more than one season because he came back the following season.
Did he?
Yeah, he played. He played more than one season because he was the leading rusher one of the seasons, and then I think the following he came back. But you know, nevertheless, we're talking about these guys that came in with, you know, a marginal past, but they got to the Patriots, showed out.
They showed out. They were the best versions of themselves, and you know those things are pretty good. So when we talk about the Patriots, since we're talking about the dynasty, I've learned so much, but I'm still mad about Malcolm Butler. I'm not letting him off the hook for Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler's he's not even sure whether to be mad. It's funny because he was like, I still don't know.
They've signed non-disclosures now. They can't talk about it. So
it's like Dillon played 3 seasons. 3 seasons.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure there's some inkling, but they won't talk about it. But Kraft let it out the bag. He said it was something personal. Between.
Still don't answer the question.
Butler.
Well, you know what?
I know, but at least we know that it wasn't a football decision. It was a personal decision between something personal between Belichick and Butler.
Belichick's wife looked at him a certain way or something. Somebody locally had mentioned they went down this road. Somebody locally had mentioned that he had made advances to someone that Bill held in very high regard, and he didn't like it. I mean, if that's the case, you know what? Play him and trade him, but you don't sit him down. You know what I mean?
Not only that, you didn't pay the guy any money.
You don't lose the game for it. You don't lose. But there's 53 other people that are looking at it like I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, you didn't pay the guy the money before that, so he wasn't coming back next year. He was a free agent right after that game, so it didn't matter, Bill. It didn't matter. He was a free agent. I don't know what got stuck up your craw or whatever you might want to call it, but not playing him was not best for the team.
And everybody agrees that was the reason they lost that game.
Yeah, well, it's like us three.
In the voice of Belichick, I don't agree. Any other questions?
No. In the voice of Belichick, let's move on.
I answered that question. I believe I answered that question. Just to move on.
On to the Celtics.
Let's move on to the Celtics.
Celtics.
Guys, the Celtics, they're killing them. Guys, listen, they are number 2 in points margin, between wins. I mean, between them and the team that they're beating.
However,
only behind the Bulls.
However, they're playing all the easy games now. The rest of the season is all easy teams that ain't got no great records.
Well, they're playing Milwaukee tonight. That would be
yeah, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
Milwaukee's got something to prove. I want to see what's going to happen in this game.
Well, we all know they can only beat themselves. They have one of the greatest teams in a long time this year. Probably one of the best teams because they got a bench too.
Yeah,
so they're not just dealing with a starting 5, but they got a starting 10.
This might be the Celtics team.
Do they want to do the? We're going to find out. Let's see if they got the hunger. Because if they're sitting there right now, like we're sitting here right now, and they're thinking about the Bucks and going to say, you know what? We're going to put it to them tonight. There ain't going to be no question. We're going to get out there and we're going to put it to them. We're going to put it to them. Do they have that in them? Because if they got that in them, then they can go to the playoffs and go through it. But if they take this just like it's a regular game, let's see what happens, it's going to show a lot.
Yeah, I think Joe Mazzulla has to sit down and dig down deep within his abilities and say, okay, I'm focused now. I'm going to make sure we don't fumble this opportunity, and he's got to make sure he's not severely outcoached. That's without if he just
against Doc.
Again, well, I'm just talking about in the playoffs, right? If you run against someone, we got some coaches out. You got some really good coaches out there still. So he just got to make sure he's not severely outcoached. If he just does if he works with his tools and does what he works with, all the talent that we have.
Yeah, but what about tonight? What do you guys think about tonight?
I honestly, I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I think they're going to win tonight. They ran over.
Eric, what do you think about tonight?
Well, they can let what's his name, Big Boy, get all he wants, but they got to shut everybody else down.
You talking about Giannis?
Giannis is going to do his thing.
Well, I think
they got to shut everybody else down because they got nobody that's going to really stop him.
Well, see, they know how to stop Giannis. They ran up against him the last 3 or 4 years, and they know how to stop Giannis. What they don't know how to do is deal with Damian Lillard.
Yeah, Lillard's the problem.
Yeah, that's what they don't know how to do. They've got to Milwaukee with Giannis going off.
I think Derek White will give him a little something.
Yeah,
Derek is fast, man. He plays great defense. He got great ups.
And Jrue Holiday too. They're going to switch off on that guy.
So the two of them, they can switch off on him, man, and give him a different look every down, and I think they'll be fine. But again, they have all the tools, man.
They got everything. Listen,
all the tools.
Let's get Clay. Let's get Clay excited and talk about that bench, man. When you talk about Hauser, Barnett,
Hauser got a sprained ankle. He's out.
Oh man, that's the only thing that's going to.
That's okay. We got a guy named Tillman to come in there and pick Giannis up. All right. So we got Tillman.
Tillman
we got Peyton Pritchard to push the pace.
And Tillman, the great thing about Tillman, he's an inside player. He's not throwing a whole bunch of threes up. Hauser's a consistent 3-point shooter. However, it's not always hitting. So I think Tillman is the better bet on Milwaukee because he's going to be banging in.
Yeah,
and he can bang. He can bang Giannis, and we got Derek White. We got all the 3-point shooters we need. That guy Hauser's a luxury. He's a great luxury to have. But they got enough to go in there and put the boots to Milwaukee tonight if they make up their mind to, and they need to get into a playoff mindset. Joe Mazzulla needs to call Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and have them get to the arena an hour early and give them a Papa Bear Hallis, pep talk or Red Auerbach pep talk about how you got to come out here and be killers.
And I think they need to pick. They need to pick their top 3-point shooters, and not let it be everybody.
Well, but I don't know, man, because any given night, the other night Hauser was dropping like you did not pass the ball to Hauser. He dropped I think 8 in a
total of 10.
I don't know what total or in a row. I mean, when you find a hot hand, and stay with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They can find a hot hand.
Just don't live and die by it, you know?
Yeah. Well, if it's not dropping, then you got to figure out how you're gonna get around that tough time. You don't die by it. You can live by it, and you can keep visiting it. But if you're not gonna lose the game by it, and that's how they did last year in Game 7 against Miami, they lost the game.
Yeah, but they didn't have the mentality either. They should have had the mentality to go out there and put the boots to these guys.
They didn't have the growth.
I
like the growth back then.
Impose your will on these. That's what I was saying.
Right, impose. That's what I'm saying. Impose. Stop playing around with these guys. They're not on your level anymore. Not Miami, not Milwaukee, none of them. You're playing around like they're on your level. You go out there and you start sticking them with that darn jab right from the beginning and start looking for that knockout. You ain't messing around. You ain't got to worry about this. They are yours. Go out there and take them.
It's funny you guys are saying this now, because remember when they got beat by the Lakers backups, and I was like, nah, that's a horrible loss. You guys were like, well, you can't win them all. I'm like, F that. Go in there and crush people.
Well, I think it's hard when AD and LeBron sit out and they don't. I listen, guys. I'm gonna tell you, man. When the top guys I'm playing, I don't know. There's a switch that goes off in your head that. When you step out on the court, you're like, it's as if you're going for a jog. It's not really a basketball game in which you feel competitive.
Tom Brady's not going to try to put 30 up on a team that looks like that. He's going to try to put 70 up on a team like that.
You're right. You are totally right. They need a Tom Brady. They need a Michael Jordan. They need a Magic Johnson. They need somebody who's just ruthless. And somebody's got to assume that. But I think Missoula's going to have to get it right now. And maybe he has to teach this to them because they ain't got it.
Yeah, man. Listen, how many people said, you putting that guy on me tonight? Remember Larry Bird said, you putting this guy on me?
Is that all you got? Is that all you got?
All you got? You look around and you
That's
don't
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, is that all you got? Like,
it's like, you doing this? Okay. That's what I want Tatum to do. But Tatum's still a little timid. And Brown's a nice guy,
Brown's not too bad. Brown said it. I don't know what game that was, but he said they're not going to guard me on 3-point. I felt disrespected, and I'm a shooter.
Yeah.
And he hit him. So he's starting to step up. He's going to his inside game a lot more. He's not freaking dribbling like crazy, losing the ball. That's a plus.
Yeah.
So, they are growing. That's why they couldn't win those other games. And we say it all the time that when we're in the dark, God brings us through the dark to get us closer to him or closer to the light, So they had to go through those times as they built what they got now.
Yeah.
If they'd have won right then, if they'd have won then, their heads would have been blown out the door. Couldn't even walk through the door.
Yeah, you guys are still going back, putting icing on a crap cake. But I like it though. We got.
You talking about that Lakers game? I give them a pass on the Lakers game, but tonight, for the most part, they're healthy. And you know what? I hate to say it. I don't think they have it in them. But if they do have it in them, now would be a good time to show we ain't messing around with nobody anymore. When we see the Nuggets, they're going to get the same thing. All of you going to get the same thing. Starting now, all you top teams are going to get the same smackdown. We're going to go out here and we're going to start busting you on offense and defense. Tatum can play defense. Brown can play defense. Tillman can play defense. We know Holiday and White can play defense. We're going to start busting you guys up and taking it to you. They got the horses to do it, and they should start it tonight right there in Milwaukee.
News flash. We got 3 out injured. That's Drew Holiday, Sam Hauser, and Jaylen Brown.
But that's fine. They all need to rest anyway. So they might have a, little nick here or there. If it was a playoffs, they could play. But
they're both questionable for the night. Well, Jaylen Brown and Drew is questionable, but the 3 of them are out.
Yeah. So and the thing is, it forces them to play with different combinations. Somebody doesn't come in and doesn't know his role or what the rotation is. It just forces you to play a lot of different, ways. I like it. I think this.
If Holiday and Jaylen Brown and Hauser didn't play, it would just make it even.
It depends on somebody come in that lineup and get hot, man.
But I'm just saying it would just make it even for Milwaukee because Milwaukee ain't got nothing like those 3 anyway.
Because Pritchard is he's not chopped liver.
Pritchard is
I like
pushing the
Pritchard.
pace. Something that the Celtics haven't been doing. He's pushing the pace, guys. The ball's coming out to him, and he is rushing downhill, making making fast break opportunities. Brown there to help him, and Hauser was there, so they're running downhill. They need Pritchard right now. They need to make a statement. I mean, hey, well, guys, I hope they go for it. I'll just put it like that. I've said it. I hope they go for it.
Yeah, we've been going up and down their lineup, but I just want to give a lot of credit to someone like Al Horford, who's playing on his level for as long as
we haven't even mentioned him.
We didn't even mention him. But Al Horford,
he didn't mention him.
Yeah, he's playing. He's playing a phenomenal game. And
he's playing happy. He said, "My knees are happy. I get breaks. I ain't got to play every night. I am totally happy right now."
I totally know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's been playing so long that he was on the wrong side of the last time the Celtics were this dominant.
Yeah. Yeah. When they 2000, wait a minute, has it been that long?
It's been that long. He was on that. He was on the wrong side of.
Oh, he was with Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
They traded him, and then they benched him.
Yeah. Remember, I mean, he that Atlanta team had what's that? Joe
used to be a Celtic.
Yeah, used to be.
Joe Johnson had Johnson, Al Horford
Smith.
Oh my gosh, they had some players.
That Atlanta team was they had some dogs on there, and the Celtics,
that Atlanta team had some players.
Yeah, and the Celtics they got it. You know, the Celtics got the best of them every season.
But it went to 7 games.
Yeah,
it went to 7 games. That series, and none of the other series that the Celtics played in was it Detroit or the Lakers went to 7 games. But that series with Atlanta went to 7 games because Atlanta got a little hot under the collar about some of the things that were being said, and they started taking umbrage to it.
You got it, man. You're 100% right. And Al Horford was in the center of all that. So
he was in the center of it.
They even had Millsap. I mean, they had a deep team.
They had a deep team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coaching wasn't as good though.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Great. I mean, it was a great series back then. And
great series. And the Celtics kicked Atlanta's butt just like Boston usually does to Atlanta.
Yeah.
You just got to put your foot on their neck and keep it there.
Yeah, jump up and down.
That was a little backdoor kick in the rear to me. I get it. I understand.
Yeah. You know, Atlanta. Let's see. We got 9 minutes to go. So, guys, what about LeBron James?
LeBron James is ... and you just fill it in. I don't know. You know, he's still a dominant player, but he's not the difference maker. So we know that.
Right. He's just waiting it out, man. He's waiting it out. I don't know. He's waiting for his son to come in the league or what, but he's not playing with the urgency anymore because he ain't got it no more. So he's playing with the talent that he still has left. How about that?
He's playing for stats.
There you go. That too.
He's playing for stats.
He's playing for a lot of things, but what he used to play for, I don't think is a driving force anymore. I think he used to try to dominate. Now I think he's, like you said, I think he's biding time to hopefully last long enough for his son to play with him. I don't think that's a really smart move.
Wait a minute. You guys think Bronny James is going to make it into the league?
Well, that's what I say. He's biding time to see whether he can play with his son.
Nobody said he will. The question is, you know, what his dad's doing. His dad's putting the brakes on, on cruise control to see. He's pushing the issue, trying to make sure he gets all the playing time in college and all that stuff. And I don't know if that's to see if he's totally healthy or if it's good for him or not good for him and all that. But, you know, his father's name can carry on into his career.
The kid ain't good enough.
Many others, huh?
The kid ain't good enough.
He's not good enough, but that's not what his dad is seeing.
Well, you know, I think
what do we say?
I think Bron so much heat that I'm just not going to throw any more dirt on him that has already been thrown on him. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, his dad's not helping him by commenting on some of the things he's commenting on in public. It's not
helping. I think too.
Yeah, it's not helping.
What did you say?
Well, first, the first thing when it all went wrong is that he can go to any college he wants. All I got to do is make a phone call. Well, that didn't start.
He said that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then he said this year, oh yeah, Bronny could be up here. He's good enough to what did he say? He's better than half the guys that I got on my team. Something to that extent.
He said, "Yeah, I play against these guys, and trust me, he's good enough to play in this league."
Wow.
Right. He's good enough to be on this team right now. He's good enough to be on this team with D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Who's getting kicked off?
Yeah. So, he's not helping Bronny at all. Bronny just, listen, the kid might be better than what we're seeing, but when you take an 18-year-old kid who had a heart attack on the floor,
yeah, he shouldn't be playing.
That's putting a lot on this kid.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, the thing about it is sports is not your life,
Yeah, right.
If you had a trauma situation that happened to you while playing a sport, you really need to reconsider what you're doing here, because like I always go back to Reggie Lewis. He wanted badly to play basketball to the point that he went for another opinion to another doctor after the doctor told him, like, dude, you can't play. Yeah. Somebody else told him, yeah, and to his demise, it gets out there and he dies on the court. What's it worth?
Right. But we all, again, my old saying, we sound like a bunch of old guys.
When we sound like.
Yeah, we're looking at it from what we know, wisdom, right? So Bronny wants to play. He wants to get into the league, obviously, but we know what this looks like, right? We've seen a lot of these stars, kids, do some weird stuff because they got that pressure on them.
It's a lot of pressure.
He don't necessarily want to come to the NBA. His dad could want him to come to the NBA.
I think it's more of a
so when you have that situation, his dad probably works him every day. He probably plays ball at school and come home, got to play ball at home. Wake up in the morning and he might got to go to the gym and he got to do everything that his dad is doing. These things are going to make it. And a lot of times we overlook what our kids' desires are because we push forward our desires.
Right.
Especially when we're involved into a particular business or sports or even being police officers. A lot of them cats be like, oh, my son's coming on a job. I'm going to hang around till the Goggins. I'm going to hang around until my son gets on a job. Then I'm going to retire. And another one, there was a couple of them. I'm going to wait till my son gets. Who's to say they want to get on a job? My kids told me early on, hey, Dad, that's not for me.
That's what my kids did too. Right, I'm like looking at you like, but then again, thank God we didn't try to push him for it. But, they said they didn't want to. They said, nah, I guess they saw something as it was affecting us that they didn't want to affect them.
Yeah.
Well, they also came from a different community, guys. It wasn't what you would call glory, in certain communities to want to grow up and be in law. But that's another story. But let's go back to these players, right? When their dads were stars in the game, the ones who turned out to be the best ones were when their dads they weren't like the top guys.
Right.
Gary Jr., Larry Nance Jr.,
Steph Curry.
Penny Hardaway, right?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Isn't Pippen's son playing better than Bronny?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's not the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, and the LeBron James. No. There's a lot of pressure there. But the other kids are good. They're good, and they don't have that same pressure because obviously my dad is a legend and probably the best ever. That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yeah, and also we still have to factor in size and talent. LeBron James is shorter than LeBron. And at best he would be playing a guard.
What is he like?
In the D League.
Yeah, wow. In the D League. Listen, all praises and best wishes to Bronny. Okay, let's not get it twisted what I'm saying here. It's not too many people can make it to the NBA. And it's a privilege to play there because not many people can make it, and a lot of talent gets drafted and still can't make it. And they're drafted in the first round. Projections, they don't make it 3 or 4 years, they're out of the league. So it's not a bad thing to not make it in the NBA. Not everyone can be a LeBron. That's why there's only one, or Michael Jordan, or Larry Bird, or any of the great players. Listen, they only make a couple of them, so probably your son's not going to be the one. Secretary's sons didn't getting matched up to Secretariat. Let's just put it that way. So it's not a bad thing. Good luck, kid. But I hope you don't put all your eggs in the basket and let people push you to where you don't want to go. There's finance.
Let me just
there's
talk
business.
There's
all kinds of things to get involved in. It doesn't necessarily have to be sports.
Well, and what he's got to keep in mind too, if you're watching the college game right now, a lot of these players now, they had that one and done, but a lot of these teams that are winning, that are doing really well now in the tournament, and even last year, a lot of their players were seniors, so they're staying in college longer. So there's no reason to rush, Bronny. You can stay until you're a junior if you need to stay until you're a senior until you feel comfortable, because you don't need the money. So, he's got an NIL deal, I believe. His dad.
Of course. Through his dad.
Stay in craft, man. Do what you got to do to make you feel comfortable and perfect your craft and do your thing. And
Bronny, there's other things besides basketball and football. You can go do other things. You don't have to necessarily go to the G League or any of that stuff. You can just opt out and start yourself a business, whatever the case may be. You'll never be. Listen, it's not. Your father's one of the top greats. Okay.
He's a great businessman too. He's a great businessman as well.
Yeah.
He's a con artist. Don't have me get on that caveat. As far as talent goes, he's a great talent.
Eric, you just couldn't start something before we had a hour and Eric had to start.
Listen, can we end this with a prayer for all of us? Mr. James, please bless us with a prayer so we can just.
Lord, we thank you for this time, Father. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you for Amazing Grace Sports Network, Father. We even thank you for the direction that we're going. We thank you for the controversy that we can cause to each other at times, Father, but we are getting to learn each other more and more each day, Father. We thank you for the airways and the people that we've touched and the ones that we are speaking to, and we're looking for them to subscribe and reach out and make comments, Father, so that we can continue on, Father, and blend in with the community with being strong men in the community, doing great things, Father, in your name. We thank you. We give you all the honor and the praise. Amen.
Amen. Tune in on Saturdays. Listen, to hear this song, we're going to start off the song, and Marlon likes the song a lot. He says we never play it long enough, so we're going to get it started and we're going to play it. Tune in on Saturdays, WEZE Radio, AM Radio, 590, 9 to 10, and call. And you can take my place. I won't even have to say anything.
So please call.
What's the number?
That's a good question. 849. Geez, you have to, when you tune on Saturday, we'll have the number.
877.
Oh, gosh. We're feeling that one. Can you guys hear the music?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll sign out right from there. Let the people listen to the music. Peace, brothers.
This the life I chose. Jay-Z mocking Christ with his new movie. One day he gonna pay. You won't catch me partying with Diddy.